Okay, so what that demonstration was something that's near and dear to me, which is a groove. Now, it takes a lot of patience and fortitude to just play a groove and not be bored and force yourself, because of boredom, to play a fill. As you noticed, there's nothing up here to distract me to play a fill, because that's not really what the communication is all about. The communication is about laying down a groove that becomes so hypnotic and puts you in such a trance that you don't want to break that spell that you're trying to create. So once I discovered that meant the most to me as a player, I started to focus on that more and more. And of course, you know the saying, less is more. So that's the basis of everything that I think is important about playing the drums for me. Now, the great thing about being a musician and creating art is that it's all subjective. But for me, this is the beacon for my foundation. When I record, I let the song speak to me, and that dictates what I play. I don't go into a recording session with a prerequisite of what I'm going to do once I get there. I let the music speak to me, and then I act accordingly. So this session that we're having here tonight or this afternoon is basically built around this premise. And I'm going to take some questions and try to answer as best I can to help. And I'm also going to do something that I love to do as well, which is I'm going to call people up from the audience who would like some advice or some tips or whatever into what they're doing right now, and see if I can help, or if they're doing everything just right and they don't need any help. So that's what this is all about. This is not necessarily me playing, that's all the playing I'm going to do, just to demonstrate what a groove is. And for me, when I was thinking about what I was going to do or what kind of grooves I was going to set up and let the room speak to me and be spontaneous, one thing that I definitely decided that I was going to do was play a shuffle, because the shuffle is a lost art form. And I would advise every drummer in here to learn how to master a shuffle, and there are a lot of different types of shuffles. Once you get into your basic shuffle, then you can start to get into all the different kinds of shuffle, double time shuffle, Texas swing shuffle, all those kinds of things. There are a lot of different shuffles from different regions in the United States. But basically, your basic shuffle, which I demonstrated midway through, is something that all drummers should learn, because it elevates your playing, number one. It brings in the element of swing. And then once you can do that, you're going to be probably the most versatile drummer in your neighborhood, because nobody knows how to play a shuffle anymore. And that's tragic, all right? I mean, the world is screwed up enough, but we're people not playing enough shuffles. We don't hear enough shuffles. So, if you really want to play in a rock and roll band, not just a rock band, you need to learn how to play a shuffle. And then once you play a shuffle, then you can play in a blues band. all of a sudden you got more work than the day before. It's really that simple. And also, there's something very hypnotic as well and satisfying about playing a shuffle. You know, it's a rhythm that you just say, yeah, just walk around like this all day. You know, it's just one of those things that makes you feel good. And of course, I had to really bone up and learn a lot of shuffles when I was a teenager, playing with the Blues Brothers. Basically almost every song was a shuffle. So I had to learn a bunch of different shuffles because I couldn't play the same shuffle on every song. And that's when I started to learn about the nuances of all the different types of shuffles. So there's a whole world in the exploration of the shuffle. So I highly recommend that as soon as you get home and start Googling different types of shuffles. And you'll go down a wormhole that you won't be able to get out. But it's good. So, having said that, the first thing, we're going to get in a little question and answer period. And these questions can range from anything, from like me demonstrating a beat that I played on a record that you like, or how I produced a certain record that you like, or don't ask me about any records that you don't like. And then we'll take it from there. And then we'll finish up by various people coming up and playing on this kit and demonstrating what they'd like some advice on, or maybe they might not need any advice, okay? So first things first, let's get into the questions. We have a microphone that's going to find whoever is going to ask the question.
Hang on, give me a